If that's the case for AI, and we're only putting regulations after something terrible has happened, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. The AI may be in control at that point.
I am worried that these systems, now that they're getting better at writing computer code, could be used for offensive cyber attack.
It will eliminate some existing jobs, but more than anything, AI is going to change jobs.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
Technology has come a long way over the past few decades, but the rate in which it's escalating now is unlike anything we've seen before. And at times, artificial intelligence can make science fiction feel closer than ever to reality.
I produce my paintings by cameras in my eyes, my AI algorithms on canvas, which result in visually appealing images.
Many of us have used AI without even realising. Think tailored advertisements on Facebook, voice assistants on your phone, Siri or Amazon Alexa.
You hear about it being either like the best thing since sliced bread, or it's evil and it's going to take over the world. The reality, it's in between. It's not so black and white.
But in the future, AI technology could be on a par with human capabilities. With it comes great excitement, possibilities, and the inevitability that, at least in some way, it will change our world.
Technologies such as AI, which are transformative, they have the potential to transform the way we live our lives, the way we work, the way we learn.
A lot of what we have in front of us has already been dictated by the past. It's a blank canvas. You can make of it what you will, really. So I think there's almost nothing but opportunities.
But there's serious concerns too. How it's used and regulated will shape its impact for both good and bad.
Just because we have this nice shiny object, those questions are, where's the data going? Who has control of this?
How people use it and what they should use it for needs a bit more consideration.
The technology is rapidly improving and spreading. An open letter signed by some of the world's biggest tech experts, such as Elon Musk and Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, calls for a pause in its development to allow society to catch up. The letter was in response to AI's latest innovation. That has everyone talking.
ChatGPT.
By now, you've probably heard of ChatGPT.
A new artificial intelligence tool is taking the tech world by storm. It's called ChatGPT, and it can pretty much do anything.
ChatGPT answers questions and writes essays.
If you haven't heard of ChatGPT, you've been living under a rock.
ChatGPT is the fastest growing consumer app in history. It can answer complex questions using natural human-like language. Microsoft has spent billions of dollars on ChatGPT. It wants to embed the tech within some of its Office apps, such as Word and Excel. Google has launched its own version, while Italy has decided to ban it altogether.
It was sort of an undercover thing for a bit. I think people were being quite secretive about using it. Not that many people were aware of it, and now it's really picked up.
Mia, a student journalist from Aberdeenshire, has written about the usage of ChatGPT in the classroom.
So there's definitely a mix of emotions. I think some people are really against it. They see it as this way of cheating, essentially. But a lot of people are slowly coming to see it as a tool that can be used. It's not just about writing your whole essay on it. You can use it as a research tool. You can use it to make your essay a little bit easier to write. You can use it as a skeleton basis of an assignment and then go and do your own work.
Mia says education bodies are struggling to detect the difference between AI-generated work and that of pupils. This person uses ChatGPT regularly for coursework.
There is a particular course which involves personal reflection, and if I tell ChatGPT, can you tell me how someone would feel if they experienced this? it will give me an unbelievably lifelike account of exactly how I feel in words far better than I could ever express.
The student wants to remain anonymous over fears her university will penalise her.
So on occasions like this, I have certainly used much of the information it gives me, perhaps like change some words, make it more specific to my own feelings, but the bulk of it is just absolutely on point to how I feel.
Some people could see that as cheating, that example that you just gave as cheating. Would you see it that way as well?
In a sense, it could be, but because it's telling me how I feel, and in this instance, it's not, you know, a heavy academic literature reviewed source. I didn't write it, no, you're correct, but I couldn't write, it's telling me what I want to hear, I couldn't write it any better, and I just feel, when it's a personal piece, I don't know, the plagiarism fear is kind of removed a bit. There is a bit of a thought in the back of my head, the what if kind of churning around inside of me, but in terms of guilt, yes, I think in some ways I do feel slightly guilty, knowing that my peers are probably spending a great deal of time reflecting on their own experiences.
In the last few weeks, Turnitin, the website universities use for students to submit work, added an AI detector. But education isn't the only industry being impacted by the new technology.
With each technological advancement, there's always been a concern for the jobs of the day. You know, jobs that existed 100 years ago don't exist now.
We're already seeing greater automation of customer service and retail workers. That could expand in some way to drivers, accountants, and journalists. Let's really put AI to the test, shall we? I'm going to ask it to write me an online news article about AI for STV News' website. And you can see already at a rate of knots, it's spewing out not only a headline, but a full body of work. It says, from chalkboards to algorithms, the education sector is undergoing a seismic transformation. Quite impressive and also a bit annoying how quickly it's able to churn this out. But one of the essential roles of any journalists is getting your facts right.
ChatGPT may not be your best source of facts. You know, you have to remember that it doesn't access the internet. It's not a live resource thing. And what it learns is scraped corpus of text and data.
We asked it who Scotland's First Minister is. It said Nicola Sturgeon. But watch what happens when I pushed it for a different answer. It claims the First Minister is Scottish Labour leader Anna Sarwar. AI can also alter reality in other ways. For example, take this photo of the Pope in a puffer jacket. It was created by an online art tool, Midjourney, which creates images that look real, but aren't.
So I have great faith that people will see through the limitations and use the tool correctly. The way to do it is to mitigate it. I don't think there's a way of removing bias, but it's to acknowledge that the bias is there and also to have other systems in place so you're not solely reliant on AI.
Tech leaders recently gathered in Glasgow for the Scottish AI Summit to discuss how society can ensure AI's benefits outweigh the risks.
So we know that AI technology is really developing at fast pace, but the question is, do we have the right governance systems around AI to be able to make sure that it's trustworthy, that consumers can trust it, they can use the technology knowing that their data is safe, that there is trustworthy principles underneath it, and that's the role that standards play.
The Scottish Government recently launched a website where people can find out how their personal data is being used by authorities.
Obviously, there are fears around how AI could be misused or how it could accidentally lead to wrong decisions. And that's why efforts like the Scottish Government's AI Register is really groundbreaking in terms of public transparency around the use of AI.
While there are concerns over AI's use of personal data, it does have its advantages. life-saving advantages.
This is the patient's radiograph, and in the background the AI tool that we're using from a company called Alan Lees.
NHS Grampian is using AI to help staff screen for cancers. This tool is flagging patients most in need of treatment within minutes.
Well, the patient was referred for a chest radiograph looking for pneumonia, but this appears more like a mass. This is a lung cancer or a likely lung cancer. The patient has then gone on to have an urgent CT the same day.
With wait times for cancer treatments at their worst ever level in Scotland, it's hoped technologies like these can help alleviate some of the pressure.
If we can find ways to use AI to prioritise the correct patients for urgent care, then that helps everybody. It helps the whole population of patients. So that means that what would have been potentially a number of weeks of work, so a chest X-ray being done, that then being reported, CT scan then being organised, waiting for that appointment to come through, that whole process can take 2, 3, sometimes more than that number of weeks. This is all being curtailed until within a few days to get that front end of the cancer pathway really accelerated.
And further into the future, advanced robots designed to make domestic and social life that little bit easier will be available to buy.
So one of them could be the Pepper robot, for example, where we can deploy into care homes. And that might be able to help, for example, medication and telling people when they might want to take their medication. Might help also with interaction and facilitating interaction. We have robots that are looking after people's spaces and their bedrooms and stuff like that.
How far do you feel we are from seeing this become a reality?
So if you look at countries like Japan, you'll see these robots are, for example, in banking and in shopping malls, and I think you'll see that become a reality here in Scotland in the not too distant future.
Where we go from here is uncertain, but one thing is for sure, AI is here to stay.
AI could, bring tremendous benefit to society.
Unis need to always be innovating. They need to look to the future and they need to listen to what the students are doing. But ultimately, there's not really much they can do at the moment, and that has got to be a terrifying thing.
I feel really excited, and this is about our chance to make some decisions about where we want to change maybe even the structure of society.